Hi class, for this sections, we're going to go over on how to write an equation for a linear graph. So before we learn how to graph a linear equation, now we are given some information and then you should be able to write a linear equation. Now, one thing about writing linear equation is what we need. We just need the slope and 1 point. Then it's enough to write a linear equation. So for example, number 30 right here, we are giving a point 8, -3, and the line has a slope of -5/4. We have to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So eventually the goal here is y equals mx plus b. Okay. So what you need to replace is you need to replace m and you need to replace b. So you see right here, we have a point and a point has x and y. Therefore, I can just use those points and plug it in. So for y, I'm going to use -3. The slope is given is -5/4. And then x, in this case, is 8 plus b. And now we just have to solve for b. So solving for b, in this case, 8 divided by 4, I got 2. So 2 times -5 is -10 plus b. So b, I add 10 over, b is going to be 7. Now we can go back and rewrite. So y equal, instead of m, we have -5/4. X, instead of b, we have 7. And that's our slope-intercept form for this line. So moving on to this problem, you see right here, they are giving you 2 points. Now they don't give you the slope, but if they give you 2 points and they give you the graph, you should be able to figure out the slope. You can definitely use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. However, when I have the line right here, I always just count for the slope. So the slope you can see is rise over run. So I'm gonna go from this point, and then I'm gonna count downward. So 1, 2, 3. That means we have -3. Now over, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we have 4 on the bottom and -3 on top. -3 because we go down. If you go up, then it's positive. If you go down, it's negative. And I always go to the right. So I always keep the negative and the negative on top, which is in the numerator. Okay, I just want to keep it consistent. Now, I'm going to use the same method as I used before. So I have y equals mx plus b. I'm going to pick this point because it's an easy point. So you can see we have y is, we have x is 0, y is -3. So y, we put in -3, -3/4, x is 0 plus b. So you can see that b is -3. Now, to be honest with you, for this problem, you don't even need to go through the whole solving for b, because you can see that this problem right here, the y-intercept is right here. That's a point crossing the y-axis. and it's obvious, it's -3, right? Sometime when they give you the graph is a fraction, the y-intercept is a fraction, so we have to go through the whole process. But if we have something this easy, you can just write the slope, you can just count, and then for the y-intercept is right here. Okay, so this is actually a very easy problem. Now, this one, you see, in this case is not that easy because the y-intercept is right here. So you can see that we do not, we will end up with a fraction. So first, let me just write down the coordinate. So we have -4 and 6. And then for this point is going to be 2 and -4. Okay, so once again, you can do y2 minus y1, which is 6 minus -4, and then -4 minus 2. I can do it this time. 6 minus -4 over -4 minus 2. So we ended up with 10 over -6. Let's reduce it. -5 over 3. So you see, I can always count. You see from here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's -10 over 6, which is the exact same thing as -5 over 3. Okay, so you know that the slope is negative. All right, so moving forward, I have y equals mx plus b. Y, in this case, I'm going to pick this point. Okay, so I'm going to pick -4. M is -5, third x is 2, plus b. You see, we ended up with a fraction. Okay, now you can just go ahead and work with fraction, or you can multiply everything by 3 to get rid of fraction, but make sure you multiply everything. So I have to multiply -4, so I ended up with -12. I can cancel out the 3 on the bottom, so we have -10 here plus 3b. Add 10 over, I get -2, 3b. So b is -2 over 3. So my final answer is going to be y equals -5 third, x minus 2 third. You can see that we ended up with a fraction for b because of this. Okay, and it looks like -2 third for this problem. Okay, moving on to a special two special cases. So you see right here, they're asking you to find the equations for the vertical and horizontal line passing through this point. To be honest with you, I don't even remember. Okay, so for vertical, it has to be x equals something. For horizontal, it has to be y equals something. I just pretty much visualize it. So for vertical, this is vertical, right? So it's crossing what? It's crossing the x-axis, right? So it has to be x. So that's why I put x equals, and in this case, x equals to 1. Horizontal is this way, right? So we have to write y because it's crossing the y here. Now, if you write x, it doesn't make sense because it's not crossing that point, right? So that's why I have to write y. I have to write y equals to 3. So it's crossing the y-axis. Okay, so that's how I write the vertical line and horizontal line. A lot of people just write down the number. Don't do that because writing down the number doesn't mean anything. So if you put vertical line and you put 1, horizontal line, you put 3, that's in fact a wrong answer. We need equation. So it's better be in the equation form. Okay. All right, moving on to this one right here, to recall. So in order for two lines to be parallel, so parallel line, the slopes are the same. So when I say M1 equals to M2, M1 is the slope of of line 1, and M2 is the slope of line 2. For perpendicular, you get the opposite and the reciprocal. Don't forget we have two conditions for perpendicular, opposite and reciprocal. So if they give you three equations and they ask you whether we have parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So first I need to figure out the slope. So for line 1, I can just divide everything by 3. For third, x plus 5 third. Okay. Line 2, I have to do more work. So we have 6y equals negative 8x plus 2, and then I divide by 6. So I ended up with negative 8 over 6. So when you reduce it, it's going to be negative 4 third x plus 2 6. Okay. Okay. So I just want to make sure you know what I just did. So negative 8 divided by 6. When I reduce it, I get negative 4 third. And then the last one you can see is 3/4. So let's just highlight the slope. So we have 4 third, negative 4 third, and 3/4. Okay. So let's compare line 1 and line 2. We have 4 third and negative 4 third. It's nothing, right? Because in order for the two lines to be parallel, they have to be exactly the same. Now, these two are opposite, but they are not perpendicular. Okay, 1 and 3. 1 and 3, we have 4 third and 3/4, which is reciprocal, but they're not the opposite. So neither. We have 2 and 3. So 2 is negative 4 third and 3 is 3/4. We got we got the opposite and the reciprocal. So 2 and 3 are perpendicular. All right, that brings us to number 35. So 35, they give you a line. They ask you to find the equation that's parallel to the line and they give you the point. So remember earlier, I mentioned that in order for us to write the equation, you need the slope and a point. We have the point. Now the slope, because it's parallel, so the slope is going to be the same as the original equation. So I know that for A, the slope is going to be negative 8. And I'm using the 0.52, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Y is 2. The slope is negative 8. X is 5 plus B. So what we have is 2 equals to negative 40 plus B. So B is 42. So the equation is Y equals negative 8 X plus 42. Now for perpendicular, the original slope is negative 8. So for the perpendicular, the slope has to be the opposite and reciprocal. So we end up with a positive, and reciprocal of 8 is 1/8. I'm going to go through the same process with the 0.52. just we have different slope. Notice that these two lines need to have different y-intercept, okay? So no matter what, I'm gonna multiply everything by 8 to cancel out the 8 on the bottom. So we have 16, 5 plus 8b. 16 minus 5 is 11, 8b. So b is 11 over 8. So I'm gonna go back and write the equation 1/8 x plus 11 over 8.